a song. Some of my earliest memories are musical, and in all my years, I've learned that songs are really powerful. I mean, they can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you want to move, and they can transport you back to a specific place and time where you can remember exactly how cool the air was to breathe that day, or what color everything became under the streetlights when they come on at night. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's like coffee. It's magical. But why? So I want to get to the bottom of it. My name's Adam. I'm going to talk to every songwriter I can. And I'm going to find out first what they take in their coffee and then what it takes to make a great song. That's Coffee and a Song. Hey guys, Adam here, Coffee and a Song. Welcome to episode 4. We're super excited about our show today. Hopefully you've been enjoying what we've been doing. We're having a blast, having lots of fun in this pursuit to find out what it takes to make a great song. So if you like it, don't forget to go to our YouTube page and our Facebook page, Jackshot Records. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, whatever you got to do. You can get the notifications for the new episodes coming out. And we're just going to keep doing this until you make us stop. So having lots of fun. Anyway, enough about us. My guest today is perhaps the hardest working person I know. And that hardened, strong character is echoed in the cries of his thought-provoking, emotional, original music. His humble character might trick you into thinking he's not the one who's going to knock you over with a screaming guitar solo, but that is perhaps one of his most endearing charms. You can be forgiven for underestimating his sneakiness. He's an unbelievable and at times otherworldly guitar player. I've seen him improvise over multiple genres on the fly and do it with conviction and ferocity. He is one of the largest blues guitar vocabularies I've ever heard and knows how to deliver a heartfelt performance. He has the heart of a craftsman and knows how to properly hone and arrange a song, and has gone on to build an impressive catalog of intelligent, intriguing, interesting, and entertaining music that he performs along with his talented wife and musical partner Jacqueline in their critically acclaimed band, The Dearly Departed. His musical passion has spilled over into his philanthropy work, where each year, along with Jacqueline, they organize the highly successful and highly anticipated annual Barn Party, creating a multi-band event to raise money for local causes. And this past year, they made the decision to put the proceeds towards creating a program to give instruments to youth who are interested in pursuing music as a passion. He's an unbelievable musician and has been an unbelievable friend to me. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to our show, Mr. Jon Gagnon. Jon, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Wow, that's...
My pleasure.
Yeah.
You got a cheers. That's
cheers.
It's the local, yeah. So, crazy times in the world, Jon.
Yes.
Yeah, lots going on. Hasn't slowed you down. You've been extremely busy.
I have, yeah. It's we just kind of been staying home on the farm and keeping busy. And
yeah. So, this is always the biggest question. This is the one I get the most, input, the most emails about. People are always like stopping me on the street now, now that this thing is really blown up. And and when they found out Jon Gagnon was going to be on the show, they just needed to know, Jon, what is it that you take in your coffee?
Well, I'm not really that fussy.
Oh, okay. All right. So what's in your coffee right now?
It's black coffee today.
Black coffee?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, love coffee.
Yeah.
We White Goat coffee. You can get 80. It's not 80 pounds. It's maybe 8 pounds.
Yeah.
The big giant bags.
Okay.
And we go through one of those a month. So.
Wow. So you guys are hitting it hard. You have to when you're farming, right? You got to get up early. That's But White Goat, local outfit, making coffee right here, right?
Yeah.
So awesome. Great coffee. What's your hot drink of choice? Is it coffee? Is that your go-to? Like if you're going to go to a coffee shop or something? Or?
Yeah, I think lattes actually. And that's actually what we've been making at home. We got an espresso maker.
Yeah.
So we used to do the French press and bulletproof coffee. If you've ever had that.
Yeah.
You whip butter and MCT oil and.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I put that same oil in my smoothies right now in the morning.
Yeah. It kind of binds it together.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to dive into the questions I want to know about now.
All right.
Okay? We're going to talk about music.
Yeah.
All right. So how old were you when music came into your life?
I think I always enjoyed music,
Yeah.
My mom tells me a story that, and I vaguely remember, but we used to have a record player, and the other kids, my two older brothers, were in school.
Yeah.
And I was at home, and I'd put on little records, and I'd sit there and rock out. So as far as, music, I always kind of loved it. Playing music and picking up the guitar came kind of later in my teenage years. Probably about 14. I had an older cousin that came to town from Prince George. My cousin Chad, he's an amazing songwriter. And I, just really looked up to him, and we went to a guitar shop, and he was like playing the guitar, and I couldn't play anything, right? And I was like, oh man, I want one. And my mom found a way to get me one. And
Awesome.
And it took I didn't really take to it right away. I kind of just learned, I think, every intro to every song there,
You could
but
start
I
them.
couldn't play a chord, is like, but yeah, like Sweet Child of Mine, I was like, I think that was the first thing. I just had to learn that. And I had a friend that was really talented. He was giving me lessons for $5, and I never actually ended up paying him, so he stopped giving me the lessons. But
Cut you off.
I kind of really took to it after my older brother, who I really looked up to, Corey, moved back to town and actually was living with us at the time. And I went and got that guitar back. I'd actually lent it to my teacher. I maybe was holding it ransom until I paid my paid for my lessons or whatever. But I went and picked that up, and he started teaching me songs, and I was about 15 or 16, and it was kind of hair straight back, I think, after that.
So when this thing goes live and out to the world, and everybody, everybody has access to who Jon Gagnon is this guy going to try and come find you now? Like, is he going to be knocking on my door? Hey, where's this guy? He owes me money for lessons.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think we're okay. Yeah.
All right. I want to go back to that record player for a second, because I remember record players from when I was a kid. And if you look at the little logo on our cup here, that's the little insert from a 45 record. But I just remember some of the record players back then as huge pieces of furniture. Is that the one you guys had?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Huge.
Yeah.
Some of those things, like if the record player didn't work anymore, you could probably gut it out and make a coffin out of it or something. I mean,
it was like
inside of them.
It was like a dresser.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, they're good memories. So, who would have been some of the early influences on you? Like, who would have been guitar-wise and song-wise?
Oh, I think I was really into the heavy music.
Yeah.
So, like, I loved Metallica, White Zombie, Slayer, Black Sabbath, kind of all that stuff, which I think if you, listen to what I play now, you'd be like, really? Like, I'm probably surprising you now with that.
Well, for me personally, I'm kind of the same vein. Like, I started out really loving metal and wanting to play metal and all that kind of stuff, and I don't even know what kind of music I play now, but I can relate to that. It's and I think we're pretty much of the same age and stuff, so it was kind of the music of the times in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think my coming of age, music wise, was it was almost out of the 80s, the early 90s, right? And grunge was, Kurt Cobain, and Nirvana was, just huge, right?
Yeah.
And I can remember, the day that he died, right? We're in class, grade 9, and actually that friend that was teaching me guitar was a huge Nirvana fan, and it, hit him really hard. And I think I was like, Nirvana was too popular, so I was like, I don't like them, right? Because they're,
Yeah.
But obviously, one of the biggest bands of
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, yeah, totally huge impact on the world. I too remember, I'm maybe a couple of years older than you, but I remember the first time I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and of all things, it was at like a dance or junior high dance or whatever it was, and I just remember hearing that sound, and it was kind of that mixture of some of the early music I remember from my childhood that were like my parents' songs that were more easy listening, and then the metal that I liked. It was all kind of in there, but in this really simplistic way that made you feel like you could play that music. And I loved it. But then it became so popular, same thing. I backed off, and it actually wasn't until I was later on in my 20s that I gained an appreciation again for Nirvana. So I can totally relate to that. So where did you grow up?
Pretty well in the Northwest here, Smithers and Terrace.
Okay.
And moved around a little bit. moved with my dad to Montreal for a summer
Oh yeah.
when I was about 12, and we moved back, and then I moved with my mom to Belize for about a year and a half,
Wow.
and then we moved back again.
So how would the different landscapes, do you think, affect your songwriting or your musical taste, or do you think it plays a part?
I suppose maybe it would. I mean, it. I think it affected me. I met a lot of people and really connected with some people in Belize.
Yeah. Have you been back?
Many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And you stay in touch, probably even easier now with the way the internet is. And
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Okay.
Bit, yeah.
And you mentioned the lessons from your friend that, you might come looking for us or whatever, but did you have any other formal training? Did you take any, formal lessons or musical theory?
Not really, no. My brother, like I said, taught me a lot, and then I would, would buy guitar magazines and CDs. I bought a lot of CDs, and I would buy tablature books for albums that I wanted to learn, and I would. I still can. I can't read music, but I got pretty good at kind of reading tab and trying to decipher that and kind of figure out songs that I really wanted to learn and
Cool.
learning by ear.
Yeah.
I did take a lesson maybe when I was maybe 20 or so from a kind of acclaimed teacher in town, Rob Brown.
Oh yeah.
I took maybe 2 lessons from him, and it was actually kind of some aha moments.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't end up. I still owe you a book, Rob. Sorry about that. He lent me a Stevie Ray Vaughan book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With all the tabs in there, and yeah, he was. Yeah.
Cool. And
Inspiring.
I hear Stevie Ray and you're playing often. That's obviously Hendrix, Stevie Ray.
Yeah, it I kind of started out with some of the heavier music, and then there was a good friend of mine, Ewan Taft, had this song. You got to hear this song, Little Wing, performed by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that song really did kind of change. I was like, wow, there's this different style of lead, because I was playing a lot of heavy metal, and the lead is extremely challenging to play in that music, and it's really fast, and it's not something that I learned a few solos, but it's not something that I could really do, and so I'd play a lot of the rhythms, and that song really kind of got me into Stevie Ray Vaughan, which got me into the blues, and then I kind of looked at all the players that he kind of was a big fan of, Buddy Guy, Jimi Hendrix, Albert Collins, Albert King, Freddie King.
Heavy hitters.
So it's just, you could, and I think I'd go on 3 months, I'd play just Buddy Guy stuff, and then just kind of go through all these different players.
It's remarkable to me, because we've played together and jammed together, over the last number of years and whatever, but your blues vocabulary is huge. Like, I've always been impressed by not just the blues. I don't mean to limit you to that, because your guitar or lead vocabularies, but every once in a while, you think you have someone kind of pegged and you know what they're going to do or whatever. You can be completely unpredictable and go to places that I don't know where you're digging this stuff up. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to try and go into some of your songwriting philosophies here. So when you hear a song that you like, something new, first time you hear it or whatever, and it's going to be something that catches you, what do you think it is that catches you about a song? Is it the music, the guitar work, the melody, the vocals, the harmonies, the lyrics? What's...
I might kind of be going off base here, but I think for me it's not so much maybe the song, but maybe where you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
sure.
It could be, how you're feeling, right? So that's generally, I think, how songs kind of hit people.
Yeah.
Is the place that they're at.
Cool.
So, I mean, that being said, there's definitely aspects of songs, like production's a huge part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like how a song sounds.
Yeah.
I think when I was younger, I was quite hung up on, obviously as a guitar player, and that's what was important to me. The lyrics, it didn't matter what the lyrics were really, right? I was listening to the guitar, but I think as I kind of matured and lyrics became more important, and yeah, they kind of hit you, right? Like it's a big part of it. And in the intro to a song, I mean, you hear a great song, and those first few notes from the song, it kind of
sets that mood.
Yeah, it does, and it can bring you back to that place where you first heard that song, right?
I love that. So in the intro to the show, I kind of talk about that. And so do you find that for yourself? Do you find you hear a song that you haven't heard in 10 years? Do you find like when you hear it, you have that same feeling of maybe being in Belize or wherever it was when that song came out? Is that something that happens to you?
Sometimes it's just like it can be, and again, it depends on the mood you're in, but yeah, it's, music is as close to magic as...
I agree. Okay. So I ask this song of everybody, and I know it's a tricky question, but if I keep kind of phrasing it like this, if I only had one question to ask you, we only had 5 minutes together, and I'm trying to do this show, so I'm going to ask you, what do you think makes a great song great?
Oh man. Yeah, I think just the delivery of it, the lyrics, and it just, I mean, the overall sound, right? Like, I think I like, it's just the vocals. There's so many different styles of music that I like, and I don't think you can really put your finger on it. It's a recipe. Like it's like eating a cookie, right? Like what makes it good? Is it the chocolate chips? Is it the sugar in there? It's
fair enough.
That's
a great analogy.
It's a combination, right?
Yeah.
Music is a spiritual thing that it kind of moves over you, right? So
awesome. It's one of those scenarios, kind of like the cookie, where the whole is worth more than the sum of the parts, right?
It is, yeah, totally.
That's great. Okay, so for you as a songwriter, when you write a song, how does it usually happen? Do you get like a melody, or are you getting a chord progression, or do you have a concept or lyrics in your brain? How does it usually happen for you?
I don't think I could really put my finger on it, other than maybe songs generally kind of come out of, I think, hardships, or at least for me, like it's tough to I'm not a songwriter that can just sit down and write a song. It's not going to happen. I don't spend a lot of time writing songs or try to work something out. So they're pretty well few and far between when I come up with something, and I don't really have I don't put a ton of work into them. It just kind of naturally happens when it's going to happen.
And that probably so when I hear your songs, they're very impactful to me, and that's probably why, because I know a lot of people who are very prolific and they can sit down and write songs, but maybe they, I'm not saying get watered down or anything, but maybe each one doesn't have the same level of impact, where I've noticed the songs that you write have a huge impact. Very powerful. So that's cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Okay. Do you ever compile lyrics? Do you have secret notebooks stashed around from stuff you worked on 10 years ago, or napkins that are shoved in between the seat of the truck? Or
I think back before iPhones, I'm a bit of a hoarder, and like I'm packing around the same 6 boxes of Guitar World magazines and like empty CD cases from 20 years ago. And I had like a folder of songs or lyrics that I had written then, but it wasn't organized then. I'm not very organized now, but I have just on my phone, like in the notes, I have I'll write lyrics out on there, and it's not organized at all. It's like just a running list. But most of the songs I've probably written in the last 5 years. Actually, bits and pieces of them are in there, so I'll be mowing the lawn or something, and I'll have an idea for a lyric or something, and if I got my phone, I'll quickly jot it in there, so that it's maybe the seed of a song is there kind of thing.
It's really become the modern day songwriter's tool, hasn't it? The phone.
I think so. I mean,
yeah.
there are a lot of stuff I wouldn't have written down just because I'm not, don't carry a pen and paper around or whatever, or the paper would get lost, but you can't always have your phone. So it is a good tool for that. And
what about melodies and stuff? You ever like record on the voice memo? You're recording little things? Or?
I don't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No. I'm. I don't have a specific procedure for that. It just
happens, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So this is always a bit of a scary or dirty word to people, and it's the word genre. But do you find yourself writing like in a specific genre or style? Like, do you find that, or do you feel like you're more scattered across genres, or do you even think about that when you write? Or
I don't really think about it, but I think I guess more into acoustic music kind of these days, or tend to write in that kind of.
Right.
But I love, I really love different styles of music. So, I think most of my songs lyrically that I would write are in kind of the folk kind of roots and blues style, or folk rock, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And with our band, that's more kind of the style that we were playing. So I would kind of go towards that style. But I love reggae, I love blues, I love jazz.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay. And what instrument do you tend to write on? Is it always guitar? You ever experiment with other instruments, or?
Pretty well always a guitar. Yeah.
And do you find the different guitars? Because I happen to know firsthand that you have more than one.
Yeah.
do you find that different guitars bring out different things as a songwriter or as a performer? Like, do you?
Definitely. I think as a songwriter, it just kind of gravitate towards an acoustic just because it's kind of hanging on the wall and it's kind of handy. And then we'll maybe choose to use a different guitar, for performing or whatever, depending on the song. But generally acoustic.
Cool. And is this your go-to? Is this your workhorse?
It is.
Awesome.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Are you someone that names your guitars?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Because kind of looks like a Phyllis to me, but I don't
Phyllis.
know. I don't know where that came from. Okay. What about arrangement wise with your songs? Do you have a pattern that you follow? Is it kind of like verse chorus, or bridge, or do you have something, or is it just kind of, are you always kind of evolving?
I don't really have a method to it. It just kind of, if it feels right, or yeah.
Is there a specific, say, songwriter or style that you like, that's maybe your standard that you're measuring against? Like, is there anybody out there that you'll go to when you're working on a song and you think, it's not quite there, and you go listen to something that kind of just helps you get that? Or
no, I don't think so. Like I said, I don't really spend a lot of time songwriting, so it's and I don't listen to music a heck of a lot. It sounds terrible, but I used to listen to CDs a lot, and I think with iTunes or Spotify and stuff, a lot gets lost in it, where you're just listening to songs. Now you're not listening to albums anymore.
That's right.
And I'm just not organized, and I don't go out and make playlists for myself and stuff, and I listen to the radio quite a bit.
Yeah.
And stumbling across songs and different artists is kind of how I end up kind of discovering new music and styles that I like.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. It's kind of a lost art form, or I don't know. Art form would be one way to look at it. But the whole album thing, it's something that I miss, and I even in my own songwriting, I've written kind of songs about it. Like just that. Sometimes it was a confining thing. I remember when I would buy a CD and I would, you kind of be forced to listen to the whole CD, even though you only might like one or two songs. But you would gain this other appreciation for an artist through that. And I remember at the time thinking, oh man, I wish I could just pick my own songs and put them on playlist didn't really exist back then, but a mixtape or something. And nowadays that's the way it is, and I kind of long for that album thing sometimes, because it was a whole experience to listen to an album.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of
yeah,
miss
and
that.
it's, you know, it puts songs into context, right?
Yeah.
Of how an artist wants them to kind of, you know, they do a lot of thought in process and kind of how they're placing songs and
Yeah.
and yeah.
And now we're just chewing up songs like bubblegum. It's like, you know, like they're just so expendable or something now, it seems. Yeah. Okay. Some songwriters subscribe to the philosophy that a song isn't finished or isn't complete until they've had the chance to play it for somebody. Is that the way it is for you? Like, do you kind of keep some songs for yourself, or do you feel like once you feel like it's almost finished, you got to play it for someone and get that, see how it works, or, you know?
Yeah, I know not to kind of keep messing with them, as it seems to work for me, and I think you know, I've done that with the odd song, or keep, you know, constantly kind of tweaking it, and yeah, I'm not sure really. I guess when you go, you know, once I kind of record them, it might change a little bit, but as far as lyrics and overall structure, I think it just kind of ends up falling into place. And I think after playing some of my songs so many times now, that they've kind of just solidified into what they are. And,
right.
And yeah.
You've kind of hashed that out.
I think
just
so.
through the
Yeah.
process of
Yeah.
Cool. So I know you've got kids and they play music and they're very accomplished in their own right. But if there was a teenager right now, maybe it's your son or whatever, and they're just learning their first few chords and they're thinking about getting into songwriting, what would you tell them?
Just to do it and not to be discouraged, right? Like, I think I had friends. I was tried writing songs when I was teenager, and I got discouraged by people just saying, well, that sounds like this, or that sounds like that. You know what? Everybody sounds like something, right?
That's right.
And don't, like, it's, you know, there's only 12 notes on a fretboard. They're going to repeat, right? And that's fine. So just don't get discouraged by people, and just you know, just do it.
Just do it.
And songs don't have to be great. There are so many crappy songs that are recorded out there that people are making tons of money off of, that are like terrible songs. So, like, you know, just do it.
Just do it. It's worth a shot, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing about the comparison thing, I think any songwriter would have faced that at some point. But, you know, I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I've watched many of interviews with Paul McCartney, and he'll just say, yeah, we nicked that from Little Richard. Like, he's not shy about it, because that's what you did. You built on what the people who influenced you to get into this in the first place had done. So, I mean, it's one thing to directly plagiarize somebody, but to be inspired by that, I think kind of imitation, you know, like they say, is the highest form of flattery. So yeah, don't be discouraged by that. I still remember a good friend of mine back in the day when I was in my first kind of band, and we were writing songs and they were terrible. But I remember we did this one song, and we'd written it and we played it, and it had a proper, you know, chorus and verse and all that stuff, and a guitar solo. And our friend, who wasn't a musician, came by and heard it, and he's like, wow, that sounds like a real song, you know? And that was the first big win for me. That's what kept me going. So, all money aside, so money's not a consideration, but just your, you know, your own selfish songwriter inner person. What's a famous song that you wish that you had written? Like, what's a song that's out there that you're like, man, I wish I had written that song?
I don't know. I love so many different songs. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have written them. I think it's just to enjoy them is enough for me.
That's fairly selfless of you, actually, to say that. Yeah, you like them the way they are, and then, you know what? I mean, let's face it, that's the way they were intended, because that's how it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So this is the part where we're going to get real deep and personal here.
Uh-oh.
This is the one where you hope your friends don't watch, because I need to know, is there a guilty pleasure song or artist that you have that, like, you don't want
easily Frank Zappa.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, there's no shame in Frank Zappa. I mean, he's
well,
he's a little out there, but
he's
man,
out there.
I mean, that music was wow.
Yeah. Some of it's hard to stomach, I think, even for me. But yeah, really
incredible players, like very innovative.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and just not really just put literally anything out there. But Jacqueline and I got to see Dweezil Zappa play Zappa in Vegas at a show one time, and it was just incredible.
That must have been.
Yeah.
And how was he compared to, like the traditional recordings and stuff? Did he nail his dad's playing? Or?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Wow.
And the band that he had was all kind of young, amazing musicians, and Jacqueline and I joked, we called it like it was the best played, worst music we'd ever seen. Like, I mean, I didn't think the music was bad, but just like, it's out there. So
it's an acquired taste. Let's face it, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it, it's probably a musician's music, in that if you are aspiring to become very proficient on the guitar, let's say, you're going to appreciate what he does, because it's like...
It's very cool, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you enjoy collaborating as a songwriter, or are you like more a work alone kind of guy?
I do enjoy it, but I haven't done it a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult to put your ideas out there if you're, like if we sat in the room together, and, do you find that hard to put it out there because it's personal, or is it just something that you haven't explored a lot?
Yeah, I haven't explored it a lot,
Yeah.
but I kind of like, I mean, you kind of feed off of people, right? And that's the neat thing about playing music with people is playing in a band is one of the most magical things, right? Where you're experimenting and bouncing back and forth,
So after all these years and all these shows that you've done, and maybe different bands you've been in, whatever, when you go out there with the Dearly Departed and you're doing a gig and you're playing one of your own songs that maybe you're a little bit tired of playing it because you played it for so long, do you still get those moments with the back of your neck, the hair just stands up, and you're like, you feel electrified, like this is like magical?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes. Yeah, definitely.
It's
playing live was is a neat experience, because you get energy from people rather than just playing in a room. So,
definitely.
Yeah, we're definitely missing that in these times.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to come back soon. Okay, well, you did bring a song with you today, did you not?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about the song. What's the name of the song?
I'm gonna play Infadel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, where did this one come from? How did you?
This, it's been a few years probably since I've written this, and just I'm not sure.
Okay. Any deep meaning in this, or is there any like kind of core feeling or emotion that you feel with this song? Or
yeah, sometimes when I'm writing a song, I'll just kind of maybe embellish stuff or whatever, right? And just really try and get into the feeling of what I was, feeling about that, and kind of try and maybe make it about, something else.
Cool. Well, we look forward to hearing it. If you're ready, we're ready.
All right.
This is Jon Gagnon with the song Infadel. Take it away, brother.
Well, tell me, what do you think of my life? A thief in a cheat, 'cause that's kinda what it seems as I hang my head in defeat. There's snow in the spring, and there's a ghost in the machine, and the wind whispers to the trees. Well, I knock you off your feet. I am the darkness in your dreams. I am the poison just out of reach. I am the secrets you can't keep. I am the reason why you weep. I've been mistaken. That's just what you'd say. Life, it's a game. You gotta pay to play, so be careful the company you keep. Sometimes wolves, they turn out to be sheep. But let your guard down, and you might see I really wasn't who you imagined me to be. But I'm lost as the scattered leaves. I'm not the cure, no part of the disease. I'm just an old pair of worn out shoes. Time to throw me out like yesterday's news. I am the darkness in your dreams. I am the poison just out of reach. I am the secrets you can't keep. I am the reason why you weep. Well, forgive but can't forget. So I relive every drunken step as the darkness builds within. You can't stop before I begin. There's no ease in my worried mind. There's no please in my guilty soul. No believing in your eyes. Truth is in lies I've told. I am the darkness in your dreams. I am the poison just out of reach.
Great song. I love that song. I was almost tempted to jump in on the harmonies, but I don't think we'd be able to enter the show if I did.
Oh, come on.
That was great. So normally this time I would say, hey, where are we going to see you next with your band and stuff? But of course all gigs are on hold right now. But you do have a couple irons in the fire, possibly, maybe coming up. But I guess we'll wait to announce it when we know things are a little more solid. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Well, John, I just want to thank you for being here on the show. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate you. I know you're a busy guy, and to take the time out to come down here and hang out with me is very important. It means a lot to me. So, cheers. Thank you very much. I hope to have you back on the show soon.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
And before you go, this is becoming a tradition. This is the Season 1 Cup of Fame. I'm going to get you to give me your old John Henry on there.
Really? Wow, this is very cool.
Very cool. That's going to end up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day, I think. Or
you think so?
No, probably not, but...
I think so. We sign the handle and get rubbed off.
Anywhere you can find room. Anyway, that's our show for today, guys. Again, John, where do we find your Facebook page for The Dearly Departed?
On Facebook.
On Facebook. Check out on Facebook, John's band, The Dearly Departed. You can find their page. Great, fantastic band. Put on an awesome live show. Make sure you check them out, like their page. We'll keep you apprised as soon as we can about any upcoming gigs they have. Just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things, Facebook and YouTube. Check us out at Jackshot Records. Can't wait for the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. That's Coffee and a Song. And until the next time, see you soon.